Hey guys, I'm in the garden today and I just found this new way of trellising that I want to show you. Come, I'll show you. Right, so this is my little baby here, my lovely garden bed. And I've got quite a few things going on. So we've got tomatoes, corn, sunflower, marigold, and basil all working together. And the tomato row here needs to be trellised. So we're going to get that up in a second. I'll show you how we're doing that. So here we have some star pickets. These star pickets are going to go at either end of this very long garden bed on both sides, there and there. What we're then going to do is get a bit of twine and connect the star pickets up to act as a trellis for the tomatoes. Now, a lot of you out there that have probably been gardening have struggled with trellising. It can be very expensive to trellis. You know, there's things out there like wooden stakes, plastic, tri setups, but I've found that this is a really cheap and easy way to trellis. So let's have a look. Okay, so I'm just going to put the star picket in like so and hammer it in. And one thing I've discovered with the trellis is you want to make sure that the holes are facing towards the plants that you're planting. So that would be incorrect. Those holes are facing away.
One of the main reasons I love growing food in my backyard is that I know what is happening to my food. I have control over it. And in a lot of countries, like in Australia where I live, you don't know what's happening to your food. It is normally many kilometers away from where you live, and it is in the hands of someone else who generally has finance at their best interest. So they are making sure that their crop can be at a certain standard to be sold. And to do that, they are spraying the crop with chemicals to make sure there are no weeds. They are spraying fungicides, they're spraying pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and you have to understand from the farmer's point of view, they're not doing this to try and make the person eating it suffer. They just see a problem on their farm and they need money, and so to do that, they will do whatever it takes and they will buy what all the other farmers are buying, which is chemicals, and that's how a lot of them have grown up doing it. And the problem with a lot of these chemicals is it doesn't just affect the person eating it. A lot of these chemicals are carcinogenic, they cause cancer, but they also eventually end up in waterways and they affect animals, and it affects the whole food chain. In Australia, we have a thing called an MRL, which stands for a maximum residue limit, and that's basically how much of a certain chemical can be sprayed before it becomes unsafe. And a lot of these chemicals in Australia aren't tested for long-term use, as in they aren't tested to see what effect they have on the human body after long periods of exposure, which is the typical person in the world. You're buying fruit and veg from the shop consistently. What effect does that have? And it seems like the problem isn't small doses of these chemicals, because our bodies are quite resilient. It's the continual spraying and the buildup of the chemicals in our bodies, which have not yet been thoroughly tested. And I don't know much about this, but I do know that Mother Nature has got it all figured out, and I think we should try and focus on learning from nature instead of trying to do our own thing. Anyway, thanks for listening to my tangent. Back to the video.
Okay, I've just got the star pickets up. Now what I'm going to do is tie a knot at the end here to connect to the rest of the star pickets. So we'll get that on. You just do a nice easy knot, just like that. You can do it again if you like that extra bit of security. And then all you do now is just kind of connect them up, just like that. Okay, now all we do is just do the same thing at the start and cut it. And we put it through this hole, just like that. Get it nice and taut so it doesn't come off easily, and just tie a simple knot. I'm just going to do a nice crazy knot here. And then Bob's your uncle. Okay, so on the trellis here you can see there's a bit of give to it. You don't want it really tight because you want the tension there to be able to pull the tomatoes once they're tied up. So right there, that is pretty good. Okay, so now that we have the trellis up, what we want to do now is tie each plant to the trellis. And I've found it's a lot easier to tie to the top of this and then tie it to the plant. if you tie it to the plant first, what can happen is you pulling it up to the top can actually pull the roots out. So try and be careful with that and just do the top first. So normally I just do a simple knot like before, tie it on, and then you want to roughly measure it down to the base of the plant like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you just snip it. Try and give yourself a little bit of extra rope for the knot. And then all you do is just tie a simple knot onto the base of the plant, and then you get the tomato and you wrap it around the twine like that. So here's a close-up for you guys. Just pull the rope to the plant, bit of extra length, snip, and then tie it on the plant just like that, and then grab the plant and gently wrap it around the twine. Okay, one more thing I thought I'd show you with the tomatoes is how to prune them correctly. So tomatoes send out lateral shoots. So you have the main stem coming up here. That is what you want to keep, and that's what you want to keep on the trellis here. These side shoots are called laterals, and those need to be snipped because they take nutrients away from the main stem. These are also really good because you can put them in some water and they will root, and these are these are the exact genetic copy of this plant. So you'll get the same tomato for free. This right here is another lateral. Snip that. This right here is just a leaf. So if it just goes towards a leaf like that, leave that. You can tell it's a lateral because there's this kind of end area with lots of little leaves coming out of that. So we will snip that. And that is how you prune a tomato. Okay, I've just finished the trellis and I'm very happy with it. One issue I have had is not using enough star pickets, which has caused the twine to sag in some areas. And to fix that, I've just added a few extra star pickets in to hold it up. And by the way, star pickets are very expensive. If you guys know why they're so expensive, please drop a comment. I would love to know. But overall, very happy with the system. It's been working very, very well. Okay, I thought I'd give you guys a quick update of how the trellis is going, and things are starting to pop off at the moment. It is just so green at the moment. The trellis is holding up quite well. It does sag in some areas, and as I've mentioned before, I did not use enough star pickets, so I'm using some of these posts to kind of hold it back in line with the garden bed. I've also noticed that quite a few tomatoes have gone limp like this. So if any of you watching this know why this is happening, please leave a comment. I have been reading a book about seed saving and gardening in general, and one thing they say is any weak plants in the garden you want to just get rid of immediately and replace it with another plant, because there's no room in the garden for weak plants. So right here, obviously this tomato is looking pretty average. I've just put another one here to replace it, and so my goal is to only have strong, healthy plants that are better suited to the soil and the conditions here. And if we come along here, everything else is going really well. The corn and the sunflowers are growing very nicely. And we actually have a Category 2 cyclone coming just off the Queensland coast there tomorrow. So we'll see how it all holds up. But yeah, here's the update. It's going really well so far.